Today I wanted to present to you why I feel that an intranet can actually be one of the best projects for a UX professional. My name is Ken and you're watching Mastering UX. So you might be thinking, an intranet, well, most of the intranets I think of are not very good looking. They don't usually have a lot of design love that went into them. I don't think that this would be very good on my portfolio. And then the third thing is you might be thinking, these are not really built with custom code, so I'm not going to be able to implement the exact UI solution that I want to. Well, I won't say that any of these factors are wrong, but I'm going to give you one major reason, and it's a big reason, why intranets are great projects. So that reason is that you have oftentimes, most of the times, unlimited access to users. You're not only going to have access to one type of user, but you're going to have access usually to all the different persona groups. In addition, you'll be able to do multiple interviews, follow-up interviews, validating interviews. And not only that, you'll also have the chance to do contextual inquiry, where you're going to watch and observe the users doing what they do in their own environment. You know, it really doesn't get better than this. If you're curious about users, if you're passionate about designing for users, then you really need to have this kind of access to users. So this is why I feel that intranets are a great place to especially get your start with being a UX designer. So I'll give you a little experience. You know, the second project where I really feel that I had the chance to get fully immersed in a full UX process was actually an intranet. So I did a project for a jewelry company, and in about 4 weeks, we were able to get to a state where we really had confidence from the business. We ourselves felt good. The users really validated that we arrived to a solution that really satisfied both the business and the users. Well, we came in and we did some very quick interviews. We didn't know very much about the company. We didn't know very much about the requirements. So I teamed up with a business analyst, and I wouldn't call them strict user experience interviews, but we were able to put together about 10 interviews, and we were staying flexible. We were changing our questions as we went interview by interview. And even we were being flexible, asking if there was somebody that they would recommend that we would interview to find out a little bit more about this or a little bit more about that. Well, with that, we were able to quickly learn what would be some high-level requirements, what would be some things that we would really want to execute on this project. And I was able to kind of formulate this kind of hypothesis, come up with candidate personas. And so we went back to the business, we kind of did some validating with the requirements, we did some validating with who the persona groups might be, and we were able to kind of start working on that. Went to the business, had a persona workshop, and were able to kind of work towards finalizing these persona groups. Well, now that we had our persona groups, we knew who we needed to satisfy, who were the different groupings, how could we make sure that every person in the company's need would get met. And then we were able to kind of go back, do some prototyping, you know, have some back and forth with the business, and then quickly turn this around and begin to do some concept testing, some mixed in with some usability testing. And we were able to get the users that really reflected the personas that we came up with. And so we did this, and then we were able to find what were the different things that different people wanted. So many times in an intranet, you're going to be able to audience target. You're going to be able to kind of push certain content higher if they are of a certain kind of audience, and you're going to be able to kind of hide certain things if they don't have permissions. There's a lot of these kind of different customizations that you're going to be able to make by different kind of groupings. And so the next step was we were able to do a second round of interviews and dive deeper and to validate some of the things on some changes that we had made on the second round. And then we were able to kind of do a finer usability testing to make sure that this is something that is usable, it's intuitive, but also to really feel good that this is something that the people in the company would genuinely want to use on a daily basis. So I want to give you one example of a particular persona group that we've got to interview and observe. In this jewelry company, there are people that work in the foundry, and these are the ones that are using hand tools, hammering away, or doing all kinds of different processes to kind of make this jewelry, whether they be rings, they be necklaces, earrings. And we were able to find out that these employees really wouldn't use an intranet that was desktop based very much at all. So what we found was is that not only did we need to make it mobile, but we also needed to make it sort of television friendly in a way that wasn't interactive. It would just kind of radiate information. It would also have some other kind of functionality where they would kind of access this maybe in the mornings on their phone. So it feels really good when you're able to kind of have this clear understanding of all the different users, all the different wants and needs, and could come up with a solution that meets all the different persona groups. So I want to keep this video kind of short, but that is kind of my sort of my rationale on how you should regard what is a good UX project. I really encourage you to kind of consider, if you do have some choice, if you do have some way to kind of maneuver the projects that you're on, then put some thought into what kind of access that you're going to have to users. So again, if you stuck this far, I hope you can subscribe or leave a comment. That would really support this channel. Thanks for sticking with me.